riding you like a whore.
When I say, do you get Oedipus? Do you appreciate Oedipus? The only thing I'm saying is, that is very much me. It's very much every other teacher you have in the building. The only reason I might be the only teacher who confesses that to you is because I'm lucky enough to teach Oedipus, and it requires you to say, see the truth of this thing? It's the truth of my life. What Freud said Oedipus proves is that you have this stew of all the memories and all the experiences that you've had in your life. You were born in the city of Corinth, just as Oedipus thought he was, raised by false parents. You could run forever. You could go all the way over to Thebes, recreate yourself into a king. It makes no difference. Ultimately, you're going to fall back and either be shocked by that or remember it was true all along. And so you build up this wall. My first wall was this. When I'm 18, I'm going to get the fuck out of this place, get on a train, and go to NYU and never come back. This wall was, the first thing I'm going to do when I get to Manhattan is to go down to City Hall and officially change my name. I did, because I had a very bad name when I was born. My parents are European, they gave me a bad name, and that was half the reason I was getting beat up. So suddenly I'm Steve, All-American Steve.
Stephen?
I'm going to punch the shit out of you. And then this wall was lose some of that weight. Some. Don't say you have a lot to go, I get it. But the reality is the shallow world, and if you want to exist in the shallow world, and particularly want shallow women to like you, make a shallow decision, which is to be more appealing to their eye. And then this wall here is when you show up at NYU with your new name and your new body, and they say, here are your count them, 4 roommates, and you've never lived with anyone before, fake it till you make it. So I wasn't just roommate number 5, I was party guy. I'm so comfortable in this arrangement, I can't even tell you, isn't this great? If you weigh 278 pounds when you're in 9th grade, guarantee you have body dysmorphia for the rest of your life. You know, I hate my body. So what do at this wall? I run around naked all the time. I'm naked 24/7 at college. Look at me, how comfortable I am. I used to like to go to Central Park and run around naked and see if I could outrun the mounted police. It was thrilling. It was thrilling.
Did you ever make it?
I made it all but once. And it's the exception that makes all the difference. There was a 3-guy suite and a 2-guy suite. You know, we shared the room together. Just living with strangers. I don't know if you guys are prepared for this when you go away. It's very bizarre. Like, everyone just get along suddenly, you know? They're like suddenly your family. I was in a room with one other guy. His name is Dr. Craig. He is a plastic surgeon. His face is on benches in Nassau County where he's a plastic surgeon. To this day, I meet with him once a month. We go up to Bruno's over here in Hawkins.
Not anymore. Bruno's closed.
What?
Yeah!
They're done.
It's called Napper Tangies now.
Oh, see, I wouldn't have even noticed. I just keep walking in.
It's something else.
But if you and your family were to go up to that establishment, Nappy Head or whatever it's called, you would see 2 men sitting at the corner stools on a bar, and one of them at some point during the evening would hit the other man in the face. That would be me getting hit in the face, and I would just let him do it because I deserve it. And this is how Adam Sandler got his first victory over me. Adam Sandler 3, me 1. And why I know that Oedipus is true in my own life. Because when Dr. Craig and I were roommates, I was in the theater program. I was pretending to be Oedipus the king. I was pretending that I didn't have wounded feet, and that requires a lot of neuroses and a lot of energy and party, party, party. He was a very dutiful student. He was pre-med. Theater major, pre-med, oil and water or whatever it is, you know. Difficult time living together because he wanted to study all the time. I wanted ultraviolet all the time. Once a month, he allowed himself this luxury. He would get a milk crate, put it in the middle of the floor, hang a hanger outside that said to me, "Don't come home tonight." And he would get 4 cigars, one for himself, one for a guy named Tim O'Herlihy, and if you look at the credits of Adam Sandler movies, he's written 7 of them. One for Joe Fugas, who directed 2 of his movies. One for Dr. Craig, my then roommate. And one for a really skinny, nappy-haired Jewish guy from Vermont named Adam Sandler. Check on Wikipedia. 83 to 87, student at NYU, just as I was, and we lived in the same dormitory together. It's not a story about me being friends with Adam Sandler because I hated him and he hated me. If I said 10 words to him and all the time I knew him, that was a lot. He was just in my theater classes, and I can tell you right now, Adam Sandler never once told a joke. He was never once funny. He was Mr. Heavy, Mr. Can I Do Hamlet, Mr. Crying on stage all the time, Mr. All the girls love him. And I get it now in hindsight. It takes a lot of mental discipline to be a fool, and I give him that credit. But back then, I was just like, oh, this guy. Well, he was one of the guys smoking cigars in my room on a Friday night playing poker, a game I constitutionally hate. I came home that Friday, I had been celebrating and outrunning police horses and all the rest, saw the hanger on the door, meant nothing, walked in, fell down on my bed after saying something like, oh, you guys. The problem with that is this, I was a little loose. Dr. Craig never, 3 months we've been living together, me naked all the time, because I don't want to be naked. See, that's what Oedipus tells you, you're one thing because you're actually the other. Dr. Craig, 3 months living with another man, the first man I ever lived with, I never saw him naked. And this is puzzling to me. Like, I never thought I'd want to see him naked, but after 3 months, I'm like, what is going on here? Why is it that every night as we're talking, you walk into the closet and you come out dressed for bed? Like, what's going on here? And worse still, when he walked, it made this sound. Like a record needle on a record. You think I'm weird and what happened next was weird, but give me at least this credit. 3 months a guy is hiding his nakedness, and when he walks it sounds like the needle on a record. So one night, shortly before this particular card game, I came home, I had been celebrating too much, I don't know how to sugarcoat this, so I won't. But essentially I attacked my roommate. Essentially, I date raped my roommate. I jumped on him and I just tore off his clothes. I was like, what the fuck is going on? What are you hiding from me? Why do you make that sound? And then when I discovered the answer to that last question, why do you make that sound, the rest became clear. I immediately sobered up and I felt like the villain that I was. And we stood there. I'd never cried with another man before. We cried side by side in his bed. He was like, you're an asshole. I'm like, I know I am. I know I am. Because Dr. Craig, and if you ever see us drinking together, don't come up and say, I know a secret about you. Dr. Craig's father liked deep sea fishing. It's amazing, the roads that things go at. And once he went like this with his fishing rod, lancing it into the bowels of his son before casting off. And thusly he pulled out a large part of his intestines. I liked your response. It was like, oh. And so, Dr. Craig walked around with not one, but 2 pair of adult diapers for the rest of his life because he had this injury and he was afraid about being shamed in the world. So basically, I attacked a guy only to discover that he's been wearing diapers. I felt terrible about that. I just gave him money every day. I felt sorry for you. Cut to the night, a month later, I fall asleep on my bed, and Adam Sandler, this says, why do you live with this guy? He's such a wreck. They're talking about me like I'm not there because they think I passed out. And he said, after Christmas break, you should just move in with us because, you know, you could switch your roommates at a certain point in the school year. I don't know what happened to me, but well, I know what happened to me. Suddenly, I became this thing that I think that I can always outrun, this person that never had enough friends and who's desiring of friends and possessive of relationships, because I jump up and I smack that cardboard card table, which is easy enough to do, but I smacked it really hard. I was like, you have some fucking nerve taking Diaper Boy away from me. How dare you take Diaper Boy? Diaper Boy's my roommate. Get the fuck out of here. I must have said Diaper Boy 6 times. Before I realized, of course, that that was his deepest, darkest secret, and I just revealed it to everybody. You know, because it's just like, whoa, how threatened I was when the one and only friend I had ever made was being seduced away from me by another person. How incredibly difficult it is to outrun the thing we think we outran. And sure enough, in February when I came back from college, from break, I no longer had a roommate. We're friends now, not so much roommates back in the day. So I said, you need to get it together. Adam Sandler, 1, me, 0. He took my roommate, my best friend. He took Diaper Boy away from me.
Are you being serious?
I'm 100% serious.
Do you really need the diapers, or does he just wearing them for protection?
I don't ask him nowadays, but...
Still wear those diapers?
February, I'm all together. I've reconstituted myself. I'm the king of my own establishment. I stopped drinking. Just look what happens when you're a freak. You drive people away. A bus door opened and the most beautiful woman in my life that I've ever seen stepped down from the bus. I do not know how any of you first fell in love, but I fell in love once, precisely my entire life, because I saw this woman descend like a saint. It was like a fucking avalanche. I was like, oh my God, I'll do whatever it takes to be with that beautiful Puerto Rican Jew. I will kill myself to be with her. And when the gods want to punish you, they answer your prayers because she wanted to be with me. You see, because she was falling for the fact that the fit guy who jogs all the time, and meanwhile, I'm always going to be this 300-pound wreck. But I'll fake it, I'll fake it, I'll fake it. Until one night, 3 months after we'd been dating, I was so happy. No, there was nobody ever happier in his life. So what do? I fall off the wagon, I go back to drinking. I show up at her dormitory door, I knock. And when she opens the door, gentlemen, I ask you, if you've ever been here, do you say, you're the best thing that ever happened to me? I didn't even believe in stars until I met you. Or I never knew what it was like to be happy until you turned just like that on Tuesday and it killed me. Did I say any of these things to her? After dating her for like 2 or 3 months, I did not. I said, I think we should see other people. What the fuck does that even mean? I never had a girlfriend before her. I had very few after her. Like what? And you know what that means? Because you can't outrun this unworthy, fat, I hate myself person, even when the world says, you're okay, just pass. The most beautiful woman in the world tells me you're okay. And of course, because she was the most beautiful woman in the world, what did she say to me when I said that? Okay, and she closed the door. I was like, I just did that to myself. I just killed myself. I just killed myself. For 2 weeks, I walked around with nothing but an orange bathrobe in New York, the streets of New York. Strangely, I wasn't the only one doing that, but I was walking around, I was shivering, and you know me, I sweat like a pig. It was spring, and I was sweating, and I was going to friends, and they were like, just tell her that you're all fucked up in the head, and that's why you did it. Just tell her. And my pride said no, until one day I said, I gotta do this. I was standing on 10th Street, and I saw her coming, and I'm telling you right now, a shaft of light has never hit a woman more beautifully than it hit her. I saw her coming down that sidewalk, and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta do this. I ran across traffic. I snuck up on her, which if you're wearing a bathrobe in New York, maybe not so much. I snuck up on her, and I was about to go like this, and I had this idea that I would flash her, like, are you ready for this back? You know? And I jumped in front of her, only to realize that she wasn't alone. She was walking side by side, holding the hand of the man whose invitation to date she had accepted since I dumped her. Who was that man? Adam fucking Sandler. Adam Sandler, who went on to date her for 6 months. And when I got her back, I married her in my senior year, you know, because I knew I had made a mistake. But the one thing I was never allowed to ask her in all the years we were together is, what happened between you and Adam Sandler for those 6 months? I asked a million times, and she said, none of your business, you dumped me. That was your... Logic would say, get over it, you've got the prize. You have this woman. Have I mentioned I'm divorced? Logic would say, just be okay. Have I mentioned I have a restraining order against me? Adam Sandler got Diaper Boy, he got the most beautiful woman in the world. And I still have nothing.
Add another 0 to you.
I can't go on. We'll finish it tomorrow.